Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do a very rare comic video. We're going to talk about Webtoon, and it looks like Webtoon might be hard up for cash. They're going public.
Yeah. I think this is going to be worse than BuzzFeed.
I think this is going to be worse than BuzzFeed. I don't know, guys. I could be wrong, but I'm looking at this. I'm like, I don't know what you have exactly to offer because they don't have a lot of their own IP, right? They just publish other people's stuff.
Well, they had those weird deals we were talking about, but they're trying to court Hollywood, which is what we've been telling you.
But Hollywood's cutting back on streaming shows. So it's like, this is a really bad time. And I think what's going on, this is just my personal opinion, is that usually when these companies, these tech companies, start up, and this was considered a startup for years, they have, 5 or 10 years to find their footing, and this is what the plan is going to be. And I think we're coming up on like the 10-year anniversary of Webtoon coming to the US, and they're probably like, okay, you got to start making some money now, guys. And their revenue is actually down, and as it turns out, according to SEC filings, they're bleeding hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So
yeah, I
don't know.
Plus, I don't think people really, like I said, BuzzFeed didn't do well, and people knew what that was. Most people don't know Webtoon. A lot of people do know Webtoon. A lot of people read Webtoons, but I think your run-of-the-mill person would know BuzzFeed before Webtoons. And BuzzFeed at least had like their, kitchenware, their Tasty, and their sex
hot
toys.
Ones, was that?
I don't remember. They had sex toys.
Tasty is not the sex toy
No.
line. Hot Ones is not the sex toy line.
No,
it was just Buzz. That was.
it was also. Was it called Buzz?
No, I don't know what it was called. I don't know. For you. Yeah, so like we'll see how this goes, but this is just like I'm seeing this more and more. IDW is imploding at this point. Boom Studios is losing people. A lot of these comic book companies, they're not content to publish comics. They want to get into, big media. They want to be the next, big thing and start a franchise. And look, I know that's where the money is year after year because the richest people in comics in Hollywood right now are the people that have those deals. And I mean, I can't blame them for that, but that was always the end game with Webtoon. Always. It was like they used the Western, or what was left of the Western webcomic scene, as a step stool to push their platform. And then once everybody migrated over there, then these deals started getting worse and worse, and they started taking money away from creators. They weren't paying them as much, and here it turns out they're actually paying the creators more than the creators are bringing in, which I kind of wondered about. Now we know this is the case. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
And so help me God, I'm going to get an email from Webtoon right after we launch this video.
We always do.
Every time we talk about Webtoon. Hi, guys. How you doing? Every time we talk about Webtoon, we get an email from their publicity department like, you need to correct this. I'm like, it's video. It's video. These are our opinions. It's take it or leave it, but we're not on your media list, right? No. So we've talked about Webtoon a couple of times. More recently, we've been talking about their deals and a lot of creators having concerns about their originals deals. And we did have Shadowbinders backed up on Webtoon pretty much like a year or so after it came out here in the US. And at that point, they were giving you money in Patreon. That's what they're doing. They're giving you ad revenue, and then they're giving you money in Patreon. We usually made about $1,000, $1,500 a month or something like that, which isn't bad for reruns. I mean, stuff was already done. At that point, we were actually making more money off of it on Webtoon than we were on the website because the ad rates were down. But it was just one of those things where it wasn't really sustainable. And then we heard that the deals got worse and worse for people as time went on, and then they started to want more and more rights. And so a lot of younger creators are like, yeah, I'm not even going to do Webtoon, because they keep looking for the next Lore Olympus. And I think because Lore Olympus did so well, they've kind of tightened their grip on it. But yeah, so this is what's going on. They went public. So we'll talk about that first. And then I gotta give a hat tip to the beat. They actually have several stories on Webtoon because nobody else cares.
Except for us.
Except for us. Yeah. So we'll talk about it. Because really, I mean, this is, every time everybody talks about comics, they're all talking about manga. They're talking about Marvel and DC, but they're not paying attention to Webtoon. And, the kids, the youngins, they're reading Webtoon. A lot of them.
A lot of them are. I know our daughter reads webtoons all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is web comics. That is comics, just comics in general for a lot of people. So yeah, they went public. Wall Street keeps scrolling. They have a target of raising $315 million, and they have their own stock ticker, WBTN.
Yeah, I have it pulled up actually. It's currently at $22.83. It's down from when it started, then it went up to $24.97, and now it's starting to go down in level.
I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go down pretty quick. I personally do not. I don't see what they have long term. They have a platform, but so do BuzzFeed. They have a lot of eyeballs, but so do BuzzFeed. But they
I'm worried it's going to go the way of IDW because they're trying to court Hollywood. And we've told you this since the beginning. That's what the plan has been. We have how many times when we talk about Webtoon, we've told you this. They were trying to put people in place to try to get Hollywood deals. That's what they've been trying to do this whole time, and that's what I think they're going to go. They're going to go for again. And that's how they got BlackRock, I think, investing in it and everything else.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that could definitely go sideways. But if you start seeing a shift in the content, that would probably be BlackRock. But yeah, they had a big event dubbed Toon Square.
I mean, to be fair, they started out between 18 and 21, so it is above what they started at. So there's that.
For now, but so was BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed the first week or so, and then it just dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
And at this point, like these tech companies, they're just not hot anymore. I think they're about 5 years too late. Again, I could be wrong. I mean, this is a weird thing to see. Every time a comic book company has gone public, it's wound up being a financial disaster. It has. Because it's just, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. So the company is valued at $2.7 billion.
It's owned by Naver, which, that's how they fund themselves. They always have money because it's Naver. Naver's like our Google.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Tokyo-based LY Corp owns another 25%. The company is already well known in the U.S. for its popular Webtoon content, but other businesses include line manga, and they bought Wattpad, again, to turn it into movie pitches. And they'll probably, honestly, I could totally see them just open out and being like, yeah, we're just going to sell Wattpad to OpenAI and just train OpenAI to write more fanfic.
Wouldn't surprise me.
As we mentioned before, the plan to go public has been in the works for a while. Yeah, they started back in 2021. Investors haven't gone nuts for Webtoon's offering. A net loss of $145 million last year is a bit of a buzzkill. That's actually not good at all. There's a whole another article written about it on the beat by Humberto Saavedra. And he had to be corrected. I'm sure he probably... got the email from Webtoon. Yeah. Yes, I'm not kidding. Every time we've done a video about Webtoon, we've gotten an email from Webtoon. And it's amazing because the entire time we were with Webtoon, getting paid by Webtoon, we couldn't get a human to save our lives.
No, we kept trying to talk to people and no one would ever answer us.
Nobody would answer our emails.
Or you couldn't get a hold of anybody.
But you grow a YouTube channel to almost 500,000 subs and you say a negative thing or two about them and you get an email within like an hour. It's amazing how that works. That's what it takes.
Apparently.
Whatever. So I'm sure Humberto got an email. But yeah, is it following the initial SEC filing confirming plans for their IPO? It turns out that they're not doing very well. According to the updated filing, the average annual salary. So here we go. Now we're getting numbers.
This is interesting. Okay.
This is, yes.
This is what I want to know.
According to the filing, the average annual salary for professional creators on Webtoon is around $48,000. With the top 100 earning $1 million annually.
Well, there you go.
That's actually pretty good.
Go down on that one.
That's not bad. So I'm guessing we're talking probably the Korean.
Well, I don't know. A lot of those ones, Naver and that, they do take and turn into shows ever. And a lot of the K-dramas are based on Webtoons.
The level of financial support represents part of the platform's commitment to supporting creators, which allows many to turn their passion into a career. However, these figures alone don't tell the whole story. So it sounds good. Like, wow, some of their creators are making pretty good money.
That's the average.
The average. Mm-hmm. And you got to realize there are people probably only making...
You're saying that's the average, with the top 100 getting 1 million.
And how many...
But that would be averaged in. So you have, for all the people making $1 million, and then the average is 48, which means there's a lot of people making way less.
Oh, yeah.
To get an average in that way.
Some of
That's how math works.
Yep. Some of Webtoon's numbers are surprising given the success of the platform, 170 million monthly active users. The investment website Seeking Alpha broke some of those down. For instance, despite all those readers, the company is not profitable.
Oh, shocker. Color me surprised.
In 2023, it lost $145 million on revenue of $1.28 billion. These numbers were better than 2022's, though. So things are improving.
So in a couple years, maybe they'll be profitable.
Well, because what's going on now is they're basically asking creators to shake that. Well, one, the deals are crappier, right? We know the deals are crappier, and they're asking creators to shake their audiences down for support now too.
Well, they're like, well, they pay out a cumulative of $2.8 billion. Yeah, over 6 years.
Yes, underscoring the platform's ability to generate revenue from the vast audience's willingness to support the content creator. And creators they love. The data also sheds light on user engagement with an average of 30 minutes on the platform daily. Readers are deeply immersed and actively invested in the stories they offer.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff over there. I'm not going to say there isn't, because there really is.
They said the platform's reach is global, over 170 million users, leaving approximately 1 million comments each month.
It's a vibrant, interactive community. That's the one thing I've always said about Webtoon was the community was great. I mean, the people were very engaged. They were very nice. When you wanted to throw the towel in, they were always ones that kept you motivated. We have said that several times, but that's true. But then I'm also like, but Webtoon also is trying to leverage Hollywood. They're making these deals. Some of these deals are questionable. And we're back to this whole thing. They're going public. And why are they?
They're going public because they need money. I think Naver probably said, hey, you got, 10 years. And in that time, you're going to have to find a way to be profitable. And you're not profitable. I mean, at this point, like a lot of these tech companies are propped up. A lot of these creator focused or content companies, look like Twitch and Amazon, right? Twitch couldn't survive on its own. Twitch needs Amazon because it's not making enough money to realistically survive on its own. And it's going to be the same with Webtoon. Like, yeah, they can go public with it. But if it's not for, Naver bankrolling it, which again, Naver is like the Korean equivalent of Google, I think they're going to crash and burn. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be, but I'm looking at this like, this is really dicey, especially since you're losing money and you've been doing this for 10, 12, well, at least 10 years over here and how long overseas, and you're still not profitable. And it sounds to me like they're shelling out more money to secure these creators, hoping for these Hollywood deals in the long run.
Well, I think part of the reason that they're getting these people interested is this next part. 75% of Webtoon readers belong to Gen Z, and everybody's trying to land Gen Z. Like these shows and stuff are trying to appeal to the Gen Z market.
Right.
So they're probably going to leverage this to Hollywood. Like Gen Z loves this stuff, and they're all trying to get on the Gen Z, and Gen Z buys things. So they're also saying the paid content, they require users to pay to unlock latest chapters. Okay, so what they do is you can read so much for free, but if you want to read the newest stuff, you have to pay for it. A lot of places do that now.
Yeah.
And that's 80.2% of Webtoon's revenue is people paying to unlock chapters early.
Yes.
And but the Gen Z is who's paying it. So I think the reason people are interested, the reason they're getting people backing it is because they have a huge amount of Gen Z people watching it, like TikTok. And I think they're trying to think, well, if we take this stuff and we turn this into shows, because they're all trying to crack that market, this will give Disney and, Warner Brothers and stuff, whoever wants to buy this crap, access to Gen Z audiences.
Hey there, fellow kids.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, some of the most popular K-dramas out there were, based on Webtoons.
They are,
too.
I like
so,
so
I mean, it's not a bad strategy, but again, it's like who owns what, because if the creators own the content and Webtoon is just
that's true, and what they own, it's a platform that doesn't own anything.
No, and that's why their new deals I think are so shitty. At least from what we've seen, the newer deals are shitty because I think they have to own something. So they're locking creators in these very one-sided deals. Now, if you're making millions of dollars a year and you couldn't have possibly done that yourself, and they're making millions of dollars a year and everybody's happy, then I guess that's okay. But a lot of people were not comfortable with the terms of those contracts. Yeah, and they bring that up. They said, well, the numbers sound amazing and will likely convince investors to jump on the IPO. One can't ignore Webtoon's checkered history of creator treatment. As at the same time, the platform pats itself on the back for paying out a salary for established creators lucky enough to get picked for its exclusive programs, the platform does have issues with overall creator treatment and fairness, such as the recent incident where super likes were nearly forced on Canvas users at the expense of Patreon support, as well as multiple incidents with past creators regarding, that's a long sentence, regarding limiting creator promotion of titles where they did not hold physical publishing rights themselves. They basically got lucky, I think, a couple of times with a couple of things like Lore Olympus, and then they decided going forward they were going to lock people in to make sure that they were making money. And that's probably why, because they want to be able to go to the investors and be like, oh, look, we got all these creators locked in and we're going to be doing all these deals. And we're gonna make money someday. But that was the thought process that IDW had. That was the thought process Boom Studios had. We're just gonna create ideas.
To be fair, Webtoon, one, has a more global audience. Webtoon also has a huge amount of Gen Zs, which Hollywood's after. And they have a lot of access to IP, which would be interest to Hollywood and investors as well. And I think they have more so than IDW would have had or Boom would have had. You know what I mean? Because they are a global market. They have Gen Z and they have a shit ton of IP. That could be, if you could get the creators to sign it over, it could be lucrative.
If you can get the creators to sign it over.
That's the caveat. But I'm even more leery about their contracts now because I feel like, well, they're going to sneak stuff in.
I would too. So
I would not sign anything with Webtoon until you have a lawyer look at it. I'm not saying that they're going to do something bad. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying, given past behavior, given where they're headed, I would definitely have an attorney look over any contracts that you get from Webtoons.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. Webtoon going public. This feels like they've pretty much hit the ceiling. I think they've.
I'm interested to see how it goes, though.
I could be wrong. I'm not getting a real good feeling about it. I could be wrong though. Maybe they'll try to sell it off to some other bigger tech company and spin it off from Naver. Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know. I just think that they're just trying to land deals with it. But on the flip side, they have a lot of stuff.
Paramount can't even keep it together. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a really bad time to go public, I think, with entertainment.
I get that. But, you know, there's things about Webtoons that might work to their advantage. That Gen Z thing. Because it's like, people aren't watching. What are people doing? They aren't watching the streaming shows. They aren't watching the movies or whatever. But they are watching, you know, YouTube. They are watching TikTok. Yeah. They're reading Webtoons. Gen Z are usually on TikTok or Webtoons and things like that. So, and those kids they'll just buy stuff. So I'm like, is it really that bad of an idea? Because the market they're all trying to get is right there. But instead of trying to move them, I mean, they might try to move them by, like, you know, trying to make shows or movies based on the IP, and in that way get them to watch the streaming services or the films. But if they have them, they keep them where they're at, and they just find ways to leverage that for money, that might work to their advantage. It might work.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see what happens. It might work.
I'm sure we'll get an email.
Gen Z is the one thing we keep seeing over and over and over in all these articles that Hollywood's trying to get and can't get. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm curious to see where this goes.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
Can't wait to like I said, get our email to correct us.
Which we'll ignore.
On our assessment, we'll just ignore it.
You could have talked to us lots of times before, and you never did, so too bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't care. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.